This should be interesting.
2023 has to be one of the goofiest years in gaming history. We experienced some extreme highs and some extreme lows, blessed with some masterpieces like Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom, and then also
True.
cursed with some of the most revolting trash that has ever been farted out into the
Even more true.
gaming ecosystem. There were a ton of super stinkers this year. Like, the hits were hitting, but the shits, they were shitting. It is crazy how we had such a huge amount of incredible games and extremely bad ones. Like, some of the worst games in recent memory came out this year. And sometimes within a month of each other.
True.
Choosing just 5 games for this list was actually pretty difficult because there were so many that could have broken into the top 5. But using the scientific method, I was able to break it down here to the factually, objectively correct take for what are the worst 5 games of
Okay.
2023. So this is the end of the year pseudo Moisties awards ceremony. I'll briefly explain why it's not an official Moisties production. It's because I didn't moist meter
Because
any
no
of
one
these
cares.
games. I only finished one of them on this list because the others were just impossible for a human being to endure. I felt like I suffered the same agony as Dante when he went to hell. So I just didn't moist meter them. And now let's get in there. At number 5, we have Redfall. In a surprise to nobody, Redfall makes this list. This is an unforgettable stain on Arcane. Arcane.
Fun fact, did you know Redfall recently saw a huge resurgence in player numbers? 500% more players. Yeah, that's right. So that means roughly 20 people played it instead of, like 4 or whatever. Yeah, that's what a resurgence in Redfall is. That's a huge boost to player numbers.
Is a great developer. They have a solid resume, so this game obviously had a lot of hype before it came out, which was immediately thrown down the
First of all, this was what he's saying is incorrect. This was made by Bethesda. Yeah, was made by Bethesda, and Bethesda fanboys said, "Oh no, 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 we did not do it." And it's like, nope, you did. You did. There's literally videos of Todd Howard admitting that everything that the other studio did still pretty much went through him. So, there you go.
The tubes when it was revealed that the game wouldn't even run at 60 FPS on the Xbox, and this was supposed to be one of their big Xbox exclusives of the year. So they put on the clown makeup for that one and really played the fool. It completely...
I mean, what you're seeing here, by the way, is probably the best part of gameplay of Redfall. Everything else is probably way worse.
Took all of the momentum out of the title's launch and immediately just became a bit of a joke. The game released and it was worse than anyone could have imagined. Unfun, half-baked, the world is completely empty, filled to the brim with glitches out the wazoo. The AI is brain dead even at the highest difficulty. It just offers nothing.
By the way, this is a cutscene. Yeah, this is the cutscenes. This is your storytelling. It's gonna. This is the Walking Dead what if type of bad. Okay, this is crazy. Millions, countless millions into making this, and this is what you get for a cutscene. Beautiful.
Nothing even remotely fun. There is no redeeming qualities for Redfall unless you're looking at something to point and laugh at, but even that novelty wears off like 2 or 3 hours into it, then it just becomes a tedious chore for everything. They couldn't even be bothered to put real cutscenes in the game, they just have still images that they pan a camera around.
Yep.
It's so lazy and pathetic, really. It was so bad that Phil Spencer himself even name-dropped it when he was talking about a bit of their flops this year and how they believed that Xbox wasn't really doing enough to even be considered a competitor in the console wars, which, for some reason, when I bring that up, some, Xbox enthusiasts tell me I'm lying. He literally went on record...
Yeah, I don't know what's the deal with Xbox fanboys. PlayStation fanboys aren't a lot better, but man, they're better than Xbox fanboys. That much I can tell you. Because Xbox fanboys literally just blatantly lie about things that are public information. Oh, this wasn't actually what Starfield was supposed to be. No one ever said that that you can explore planets. Except Todd Howard in like literally 5 different interviews, and all of the people heading the project told you that you can do that, and they're on videos even. But no, dude, the Xbox fanboys just blatantly lie so hard for some reason.
And said this, you can watch it for yourself or read it for yourself. Like, it's all right there at your fingertips. Just go on Google, go to this source, that source, any source.
Fun fact, then PlayStation now claims it has lost the console war. Well, it doesn't officially state that, but from leaked documents, PlayStation is worried that Xbox actually has, like, 15 trillion games. I mean, I don't really know how they're looking at it. I personally don't understand it. But, when Redfall is supposed to be a flagship title for this, and, well, it's this bad, I don't know how PlayStation is worried about, the games that Xbox has. Because, this is a -1 even though this exists. How?
Really, like, he himself mentioned that Xbox wasn't doing enough this year, and I do agree. And Redfall was one of the things that he pointed out as being a blemish. Now, moving on to number 4, I think this one's going to have a few of you with your jaw on the floor for the placement on this one. No one's going to be surprised it's here, but I think you will be shocked to learn that number 4 goes to Gollum. Lord of the Rings Gollum game. This was...
The studio behind it unironically shut down. Yeah. This wasn't the day before getting away like bandits with millions and starting a new thing instantaneously. Now, this studio actually failed so hard it shut down. The day before, creators, they shut down and made away like bandits. Like, they're happy. You can celebrate your, meaningless victory of their studio shutting down, but they made millions, got away with it, and people think they won. Yeah.
By most considered to be the worst game of the year. And when I posted my video on it, I called it worst game of the year so far. I had the foresight to predict that it might actually get worse than Gollum, and by golly, I tell you, I swear with my hand on a stack of Bibles, somehow it did. Gollum is number 4 for the worst game of the year. That's how you know this year was special, because any other year this would have been easily number 1. So, what makes...
True. When Gollum came out, it was so bad that everyone thought, wait, there's not a lot of time left. Nothing's gonna actually beat this, right? There's not that much time left until the end of the year. Surely no one's gonna beat Gollum. Now, I also said, yet, there could be something, but the fact that we got so much worse than Gollum is a miracle.
Makes Gollum so shitty, just look at it. It's a stealth game and a platformer, but none of the mechanics work well. It is extraordinarily boring. This is the only game on the list I was actually able to finish, though, because it became something like a challenge for me. Like, this was my display of strength, my Gordian knot that I needed to cut.
So he's stealthing and he has been discovered. It just randomly happens. There you go.
In this game. So I pushed through all like 5 or 6 miserable hours of this experience and beat it, just to say that I'm one of the few that did. So I got my $50 worth out of this one, I tell you what. But this game was so bad that it actually led to the studio being shut down for it, because not only did it not sell well, but the reception was so overwhelmingly negative that they viewed it as, I guess, embarrassing or shameful, and they just closed the doors on the studio, which is actually extremely sad, because the studio makes good games outside of Gollum. The games that they're known for making are not stealth platformers like Gollum was. That was their first attempt at doing it, and they just didn't know how to do it correctly, so it led to this trash. But I was still upset to learn that the studio was closed in response to this game. Now, Gollum is horrible, and you're probably scratching your head, what could be worse than Gollum?
A lot.
Turn your attention to number 3 on this list, because we got a real heater. We've got Rise of Kong. Yes, this puppy's coming from the...
Yeah. This studio that creates, well, nothing but rip-offs, essentially somehow magically got the MonsterVerse license to do this. Kinda honestly crazy, but but that's it. Let's skip Rise of Kong. It's just a cash grab. It's just a cash grab that magically managed to get the license for the game, which makes no sense, but you know, it is what it is.
Our super surprise special, we've got a tie for third place actually, and it's another Game Mill game. It's The Walking Dead Destinies. This puppy came out 3 weeks ago.
Well, to be honest, this game is as good as the TV series. I hate watched The Walking Dead. Man, dude, the show has, after season 3 or whatever, man, The Walking Dead just fell off a cliff. Teleporting zombies, plots that make no sense, intimidating villains that are not intimidating but are heroes feared for, 11 episodes out of 12, and then in 12 episodes they all come together and say, let's do this. And then they just kill the baddie in like literally 5 minutes without any problem or anything. It is crazy. Man, so, this is not actually that much off of the source material at this point. It is what it is.
Ago they said, you know what, we're not done shoveling shit in your mouth. Open wide, gamers, here's our ass.
So, The Walking Dead also has ended, by the way. It ended in the most non-spectacular way possible, except that I found a new evil dictator gilf mommy to wish for. But despite that, there's a couple of spin-offs. Now, I saw the Daryl Dixon one. I watched 2 episodes, and I was done. The Daryl Dixon spinoff is so bad that I couldn't even hate watch it. It's like, no, teleporting zombies, but someone opens a room and it's a small room and there's nothing in it. They turn around and the zombie teleports behind them some magically. How? Fair game. But the Daryl Dixon spinoff was so bad that Daryl Dixon started teleporting. I'm not kidding. The bad guys are, there's like 10 bad guys. They're all in a circle. They have automatic weapons. And they want to do bad things. You know what happens? Suddenly there's just a scene where Daryl flies over and somehow magically hits one of them from behind with something, and then just skitters away like a cockroach. And all of the rest of the baddies are completely baffled what just happened. I can't blame them. They're in a pretty open space, and there's at least like 8 people who should have probably saw Daryl just, running towards him. But no, that didn't happen. He just teleported. I would also be baffled if a guy just teleported behind one of my friends and said nothing personal, kid. It is just beyond bad. And then none of them decided to shoot him even while he skidded away like a cockroach. Dude, they had their fingers on the triggers, bruh. It is just so bad it's not even hate watchable.
And enjoy what comes out. And boy howdy did I not enjoy it at all. This game is, again, completely miserable, and again, takes a very popular IP and runs it into the ground. Even though the show itself kind of ran itself into the ground a little bit, but that's a topic for a different day. The Walking Dead Destinies does nothing right, per usual. Takes a page out of Redfall's playbook here with the cutscenes, where it's just slideshows. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. The gameplay, if you can even call it that, is beyond sluggish and seems like it's just there to waste your time so that way you can't get a refund after 2 hours on Steam. It is incomprehensible how Game Mill keeps getting away with this. I truly believe in the conspiracy that they must have blackmail on all of these major franchises and just strong-arm them into letting them use their IP to make this shovelware throwaway garbage. There is no way these games make any money for them, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the world that actually buys these bitches. Nobody buys them. The trailers look horrible. Like, there's no one that ever actually falls for this, except for maybe like elderly grandparents that buy these games for their children, not knowing gaming or something, so accidentally purchasing this. I just don't see their business model. There's no way they're making money. This has to be a money laundering scheme or something. I don't get it, but yeah. I couldn't decide which Game Mill game was worse there, so I let them duke it out and share the stage together at the number 3 for worst of the year.
Admirable.
And that brings us to number 2. We have an actual scam game, The Day Before. I had covered this game about a year ago when everyone was talking about how like all the gameplay trailers and shit are fake. The game's not real, it's never coming out.
Yeah, but it did come out. Crazy.
Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, And this bad boy actually comes out, and it is nothing like the trailers led people to believe. It was a completely different game, and it was nearly unplayable. There was nothing in there that even shared the same DNA as what they were showing throughout the last year or so. From the most wishlisted game on Steam under a false pretense to one of the most universally hated games when it dropped. And then 4 days later, the studio behind it.
Why did people even wishlist this? This is the craziest part. It's like, it's clearly a scam, but no, people are like, yes, please, mommy, feed me.
Announced they were shutting their doors. They immediately just called it quits, gave up. They had their cake, they ate it too. They made their influx of cash off this and then said, all right, we're sailing off into the sunset, dropping this broken pile of garbage, this dog shit on everyone's doorstep. And for the few fans that were still holding on to the hope that maybe...
Yep. The crazy part again is I think the fact that everyone's like celebrating, yeah, they shut down, we won. No, you didn't. The brothers who are behind this game are already rumored to have started a new mobile game company. The only reason they shut down was because the PR was getting too bad out of hand. And now now they're not gonna get investigated because everyone's happy that they shut down. Bruh, they made away with at least 2 million, I think, at this point. I think they at least made 2 million off of this game.
they'd get a game that's decent, you know, they'd waited so long for the day before, that was immediately ruined. And they never even bothered to try and fix it. Now, of course, I think everyone did get refunds for this. I think Steam themselves even stepped in and issued refunds. So
50% of people got refunds.
At least people got their money back, but what a disaster of a game. It's actually disrespectful to even call this a game because this really seemed like they panicked just to produce something to avoid a potential lawsuit. That's my theory on it, at least. Because this...
First time I hear about that. They were not a crowd-founded thing. They had no lawsuit to be afraid of. If they don't come out, they don't come out. That's pretty much it. Nothing new there.
Never even tried. Like, for a zombie game, the most zombies I ever saw on the map at any given time was 4. It was also nearly impossible to run into any other players. It also ended up being a fucking extraction shooter, which is not at all what they advertised in the slightest. So, I don't even know if I can really call this a game. It was just legitimately a fucking scam, which is why it's got the comfortable number 2 spot here. But you know what's got the number 1 spot for the worst game of the year? Well... none other than another Game Mill production.
I had no idea.
Of the 6 worst games I could think of this year, 3 of them belong to Game Mill. That is a...
Hey, at least Ang looks like Ang and Katara looks like Katara. Nice.
A historical achievement. Usually a studio will have 1, maybe 2 bad games in a year, at most.
Most studios don't even release 2 games a year.
It's unheard of to have 3.
Bro.
And in the span of about 4 months, I believe...
I did not even know this was a thing. Wow. Anyway, the Avatar game, yeah, probably bad. Let's absolutely be real. What is this? An Avatar puzzle solver thing? I mean, it's not the worst technical idea that I have heard in my life, but, you know, still Man, no. But, man, well, kind of sad. We didn't get Starfield. What did he miss? I would have definitely put Starfield in there, obviously, because Starfield just is a complete wash. And Starfield has done something that no other game on this list has even come close to. Starfield's existence has made people think that the next game they're going to be making, Elder Scrolls 6, is going to be bad. And it's completely understandable. So yeah, what didn't make it on the list? I guess Starfield. That's it. Because Starfield was so hyped. I wanted Starfield to succeed so badly. But, you know, just from the trailers, it was clear that it's going to be trash. Oh, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, gamers always winning, if you have a brain, that is. Because you're either laughing about the disasters, or you're not playing the disasters. That's it. It is what it is. Anyway, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.